I see this profile and it has a word that I don't know what this word is. I'm like, what is this word? It was sapiosexual. And I was like, what is this? I literally
Say it again?
Sapiosexual.
Sapiosexual.
Sapiosexual. That's the word, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Yes.
So I had to literally like go and like Google the word, see what it was. And the fact that like someone had put something in there that intrigued me, that had piqued my curiosity, because I love to read. I already like referenced one book in a very short amount. I really love to read. So the fact that there was a word that I wasn't super familiar with, that was a really good sign. And that's actually been something. And that profile was Brian's. Turns out he had accidentally clicked on mine, but it's not. I think that I thought you said you accidentally. You're like, I don't remember because I reached out to you.
You said,
okay.
No, I clicked. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Welcome to Couples Unfiltered. I'm Lionel, a retired Marine drill instructor and master sergeant, and a widower learning to navigate life after loss.
And I'm Natalie, a retired nurse, also widowed. And now together, we're navigating grief, healing, midlife changes, family dynamics, and everything in between.
Join us as we have real, unfiltered conversations about love, loss, and relationships.
We'll share stories, talk to others about their journeys, and drop a few cheat codes for making relationships work.
Listen, it's raw, it's real, and it's unfiltered.
Let's get started.
Welcome back. Today, we're talking with a couple who knows about movement. Not just movement in the community, not just movement in love in their own relationship, but we're getting people moving. We're going to dive in more about that, but please help us welcome Brian and Latoya. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Of course. Of course.
Yeah, we let's see, when did we first meet you guys? I think we first met you when we first interacted with you, but we heard about you before that.
We connected. I'm a big fan of LinkedIn. I'm a huge fan of LinkedIn, and we connected through LinkedIn. Just the universe started to align. People that we were connected with, and you were connected with. And was like, okay. And then you sent us a message.
Yeah.
And I was taken aback by the message, and I'm like, let me look at this guy. Let me see what he's doing. Let me dive in deeper. And LinkedIn could not have expressed who you are. It's a great platform, but meeting you in person and having a conversation with the both of you was just amazing.
Yeah, there's not too many people that you like align with as far as the way you think, and kind of despite your upbringings being so different, you come to a point where it's like, you know, it's a very spiritual belief that you live through. And the fact that like I'm very into feng shui, and I'm very into, you know, the spirituality of earth and the natural things that Mother Earth provides us, and the universe and God and all those things we believe in. It's like you can mix all those things together in your life. And we think you guys do that beautifully. And it's also very rare to see people who look like us that are doing that. So
You about to bring the tears. It's like, are we starting already?
I seen that.
But it is something.
I seen that.
It is something when souls align, and I believe that is what has happened here. So we're extremely thankful to have you guys here with us. Thank you for making the drive to just come and sit down and chat with us. And we want to dive deeper into who you are as a couple and as individuals.
Yeah.
So if we can,
Okay, let's do it.
Latoya, we'd like to start with you. Take us back to how you were raised, how you grew up, your family dynamics, and get us to the point where you two are about to meet.
Okay. Woo, take it back. Well, so I hail from upstate New York, Syracuse, and you know, very like middle class upbringing. Lots of siblings. My parents were also very entrepreneurial. So like, not just my parents, my whole family. So I grew up like in this very middle class, like, I don't know if that's the right word, but very communal like family where everyone was entrepreneurial. Like my earliest memories were running around my grandmother's restaurant with my aunts and my uncle in the kitchen cooking. You know, my mom would come home from working a full-time job and like, you know, taking orders and all like that. Those are my earliest memories. And by the time my parents had me, like my mom came into their relationship with 2 kids and my dad came in with 1. And they actually separated when I was quite early, but like they were co-parenting before like co-parenting like was a thing, you know, part of each other's family. And I grew up dancing, moving. My sister did all of the things, didn't want to do all of the things, but like I'm glad that she did because I was like the person in the window watching her doing all of the stuff, and dance was the thing that stuck with me. And so I spent, you know, pretty much most of my life training to be a professional dancer, specifically in ballet. That took me all the way through college. And then when I finished college and I had danced professionally for a few years, I was like, oh no, this ain't for me. I don't want to be on the stage. Like, you know, this whole idea of being perceived too much. But what I really appreciated through that whole journey was it taught me discipline and focus, but it also drew me to my true love, which was movement, right? So the analogy that I was thinking of, I was like, oh, that's an interesting analogy, is gonna show my millennial roots, but like in Twilight, like Jacob and Bella are like besties, and there's like this unspeakable connection, right? But that unspeakable connection was to lead him to their to like you know, connect with his like person, which was Renesmee, which was their daughter. Anywho, so it's a whole different.
Hey,
so
I read all the books in 5 days. Okay, when I was pregnant, and I think I got like 15 years on you.
So I was like, I know it's true, but it's like, you know, through dance, I really got to connect with like my true passion, which was movement. And then when I was done with the cold, like I went to Temple University in Philly. Like I lived in Buffalo for a year where they had one of the worst storms ever. I was like, I never want to see snow again unless it is a choice. So I moved out here on a whim, like no plan, and had a bunch of friends out here. Really started diving into transitioning from the stage to teaching dance, and that's connected me with Pilates. I had already been doing Pilates as a cross training, but going into a teacher training because I was going to be working with little bodies I didn't want to break, you know. These little dancers come in, you want to give them as much, but I was not ready to go back to school. So yeah, I went into my Pilates teacher training program, moved to Orange County to really focus in on that. And I got to train with some of the best folks in the world when it comes to Pilates. So I was really excited about that. And then, you know, you're like, okay, all this other stuff in your life is looking good, you know, or at least has direction, right? So I was like, okay, let's open the water back up for relationships. And that's, you know, before Tinder and Hinge and all that stuff, went to blackpeoplemeet.com. Like, let's see what happens. And lo and behold, like I see this profile and it has a word that I don't know what this word is. I'm like, what is this word? It was sapiosexual. And I was like, what is this? I literally
Say it again?
Sapiosexual.
Sapiosexual.
Sapiosexual. That's the word, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Yes.
So I had to literally like go and like Google the word, see what it was. And the fact that like someone had put something in there that intrigued me, that had piqued my curiosity, because I love to read. I already like referenced one book in the picture. I really love to read. So the fact that there was a word that I wasn't super familiar with, that was a really good sign. And that's actually been something. And that profile was Brian's. Turns out he had accidentally clicked on mine, but it's not. I think that I thought you said you accidentally. You're like, I don't remember because I reached out to you.
Reaching out, you said,
okay.
but no, I clicked. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Let's switch over again so we can meet in the middle there.
Yes. What about you?
Oh, yeah. So, the situation in my life was just kind of grew up with seeing, unfortunately, not seeing my mother in a good relationship, but I did see relationships around. So I always had the idea of a relationship. I liked the idea of relationships. Unfortunately, I didn't see too many successful ones growing up, but they were there. So I did have the idea in my childhood of, having a relationship. I did see that, and not only see it, but like it. Another thing that interests me growing up was just wellness or working out, which was so interesting to be where I am now, but just really loved whether it's playing outside, whether it's on your bike, which I still do now, whether it's just running around in the woods, which I still do now, or whether it's playing basketball, which I don't do too much now, but I still do get outside and stay active. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I need that. I need it.
I'm retired now.
But that's it. No more.
Y'all come to Pilates before y'all go.
Oh, okay. I get it. Game on. So that's interesting just in terms of the movement early on in my life. It's just funny to kind of think back now with the question being asked. So, relationships was there, movement was there. Loved to learn at the same time. So growing up where I grew up, there weren't a lot of people around me that were influencing me to learn. Knew that I wasn't going to go the college basketball route. So just went to smaller colleges in the beginning. Really didn't know what I wanted to do. But then locked in, I had gotten a job during the summer at a place called Green Chimneys. And that was great. Just sort of taught me that I wanted to teach because you were working with kids. And that was an awesome opportunity because then I knew right away, I was like, I want to teach. So that got me focused. So I finished up down in Baltimore.
Where?
Baltimore, or Morgan State down in Baltimore.
We'll
Down in Maryland. So finished up there, started the teaching, absolutely loved it, loved everything about it, was working specifically with at-risk youth or kids that were from the hood, back where I was from, however you want to call it. But so really enjoyed that because I had a relationship with them. I know how I'd grown up, really, really enjoyed that. And now seeing what I'm doing now, just a relationship, in that as well. But knew that I wanted to one day somehow get into business. I really didn't know what, so I knew that I would need to learn how to sell, the skill of selling. So I started to do some gym membership sales while I was also teaching as well. But I knew that California would offer me a bigger, I was in New York, right? So New York could offer you New York City, but I knew that I wanted to warm. So at that point, I was in upstate New York. So I was born in the city, but I was in upstate New York at this point in Beacon, New York.
Beacon is not upstate.
Yeah, right. Because Toya's from Syracuse, right? So I do need to be clear when I say upstate. So yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I got what you're saying.
Yeah.
I was stationed in New York. I was stationed in Long Island. So anything that's north of the city is upstate, in my opinion.
Yeah.
From New York.
That is downstate.
Yeah. The language, I know, it's so sensitive. I mean, people are so sensitive.
I guess I could be that way too with NorCal. People say the Bay Area. I'm like, that's not the Bay Area.
She'll get me sometimes. I'm like, ain't that the Bay? That's not the Bay.
I just had someone do that to me just the other day. Someone said, no, be clear. I was like, okay, you're right. I got you.
Don't E40 me in this situation.
Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness.
That was a great timing for an E40 reference.
So as far as your upbringing, when it comes to your parents, did you have a two-parent household?
No. So that's what I was saying. With my mother, no. But all of the other relationships, they had partners. So my mother, no. All the others. So my grandmother, my aunts, my uncles, things like that. Okay. So. But yeah, actually, she did have one. It was so bad, I don't even see it as being one. It's weird.
Right.
But she did actually have a relationship,
Yeah, you voided in your mind.
Yeah, just literally that's not a relationship,
That's not what I want.
That's not a relationship.
Well, that's the important part, right? That you check mark the things you don't want.
Yeah. We often talk about that, because I think it's important to take heed and to reflect on and to bring some of the beautiful things that our family has brought us. But I think that also can lead to some of the traumas. Sometimes it's hard to sift between the trauma and what feels good and what is good for us. I'll speak for myself. It's hard for me to do that. I'll speak for myself.
No, I think you could speak for a lot of people when it
absolutely.
comes to that. It's very, very cut and dry. There's really no other way to think about it. I mean, it's your experience is your experience, but I mean, it's either going to be a bad one from relationships or, generally good or a little mix of both. So, yeah.
So I'm envisioning the both of you on your computer in different parts of, I'm assuming both of you were in California.
Yeah, at this time. Yep.
Yeah.
So both of you on your computer, this magical moment happens, you see a word and it's like, what is this word and who is this person? How does that happen? What happened in that moment when did you reach out to him and say, hey, this is okay?
So I did reach out to him. I cannot remember what was in that OG message, but I promise you, we only exchanged 2 messages.
Yeah, it wasn't long.
And I think, that's where both of us were very intentional about like what we were going for. It wasn't like we weren't looking for a pen pal. We weren't looking for, just a friends with benefits. So, I think we exchanged like 2-3 messages on the app, and then a few text messages, and he was like, oh, well, I really want to take a ride in Orange County anyway, so I'll be and the rest is history.
So had you done any dating before you guys met, or like on that app, or was he kind of the first person that you felt like maybe we should meet?
No, I had gone on a few dates on the app, and I had been in a very long-term relationship. Like when I had moved out, I moved out here with a long-term partner. So like I came with some history.
Yeah, it's the best way to be together is to have a little history behind you. All right. So you said you had the ideas of you were dating with intentions, and you mean intentions to be in a long-term relationship.
Yeah.
So were you both on that same kind of level when you met? Did you talk about that right away?
Yeah, we talked about it right away. Since, as I just mentioned, I had already been in a long-term relationship that was like on and off for about over a decade. And then, a few ones that I thought had potential after that. I knew that for me, being in such a long-term relationship without it ending in marriage, I knew that like marriage was the thing that I wanted to do, not just to say I'm married, or to just jump into marriage, but like, okay, if I'm going to do this, if I have a life partner, I want to go into the covenant of marriage. So we were both pretty upfront and honest about that. What were your thoughts about being a long-term relationship and or marriage, honey?
Yeah, we talked about it. Yep. So we knew that we wanted to be, that's what the goal was. Obviously not with each other. Like that would just be way too early, obviously, to start speaking in terms of let's be together on the third conversation. But we just knew that it was very intentional, like being serious. So like meeting up early wasn't awkward, right? Because we knew that we were just trying to really figure out if there was this chemistry that we felt on the phone or from talking and stuff like that. So that's what we felt.
Yeah.
And we talked about it. It's cool to talk about it. And that's the beautiful thing about, once you're dating for a while, like I felt comfortable just voicing what it is that I was looking for, because you'd been out there, you'd seen what you don't want, what you want. So, you're able to see.
Mm-hmm.
So when you guys got together, when you guys decided that, how long were you together before you got married?
About 5
years. 5 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, like, one thing that I think because he loves his marital bliss right now, but when we first, like, he wanted partnership, a long-term, like, marriage, he was a little indifferent about. Like, it does not need to be marriage as long as, like, we're committed. And he likes to question why we do all things. Like, okay, I think it's a really healthy thing to do, especially when you are venturing out on a pathway that is different than what you've grown up with or what your reality is. So like, just a question why, like even traditions. Like one time I think I told him, like, I was like, come on, be a little bit chivalrous. And he was like, why? Why?
Yeah, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, exactly.
What happened to you
like,
that you did?
Is this part of the patriarchy? That's like, and I was like, oh shoot, who am I with right now? And so like had me questioning a lot of things, even, about marriage, but I felt really strongly, that like wanting to have children and like doing that within that parameter or the context of marriage, because I felt like that was important to me, and that was another layer of commitment. Saying I do was another layer of commitment that isn't always there.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I know that that feeling, because when we first got together, it was like, we're not going to get married.
You're not going to get married.
Yeah.
We exchanged the Costco card. That's good. We can go.
Let me see.
We get to go shopping.
Come on, like this is
serious now.
Serious relationship.
Well, we actually we got the Costco card. Then we lived together for a little bit. Then we bought a house.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got married.
Yeah. Oh, and we were not thinking about getting married. Mm-hmm. She was married for 26 years.
We were thinking about it, but we were thinking no.
Right.
Yeah, it was on. Of course, you're gonna think about it, but we've been married for many years to other people.
Yep.
We've done this. Okay, what is do we need to get married?
What's the why?
And then I got to the why.
Yeah.
The why was I need you to know, I need the world to know I'm yours. We can say it all day. We can walk around but I need the world to know in a way that the world knows it. They see it, they understand it, and that meant something to me.
Yeah.
I wanted to belong to this woman.
But that's a social standard too that you have to live up to, and whatever your actual beliefs are, and you're conscious, right? You're conscious about what other people are thinking. I was worried about people thinking that if we get married, that's a problem because my spouse passed away and I had children. But then what actually brought me to realize that this should be the way we do it is because I felt my children deserved to know that we were in a stable relationship and that we were working towards a family staying together, and their interpretation of our marriage or relationship was the only thing I really cared about. Everybody else could, kick rocks about what they think. The bottom line was that my kids knew that we were together, and together we were going to fight and be together in this family. And, that was the solid contract that turned me over to that side. Turn me over to the dark side. I was going to say
the dark side. The dark.
She doesn't know that world. I will teach her.
Okay, all right.
One day she will.
Taught me. I watched
It is okay.
Yeah,
I've never seen it.
I tolerate a lot of these things.
For the non-nerds out there, we're talking Star Wars.
I watched Star Wars for the first time.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, I thought there was going to be so much more. But okay.
This is it?
It's also not real, but
I love you.
yeah.
Stop it.
I love you honestly too because I watched it a few times and I let you have your little your little Darth Vader cup on top of our dresser with all the other things. Is it Darth Vader? Did I
No,
say that?
it's a stormtrooper. But
Okay.
Close.
But they work for
Dark side, exactly. Dark side.
Must you know more than
Dark
me.
side. Dark
I won't
side.
even go there. When you said dark side, I thought you were talking about skin. 'Cause, that's a whole nother-
Dark side.
I live on the dark side.
That's even better.
Because I did, I crossed over to the dark side.
So I'm very scared.
That's
That's another subject.
We go down a whole.
that was another.
But back to the children. Like, so were you guys on the same page about having children?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So from the beginning.
We literally, the first conversation we had talked about everything. The first conversation that we had.
Family, marriage,
What do you with family?
children,
Because I know, you know what I mean?
everything.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
Politics. Where do you
I
lean?
feel like that's what you should. I mean, if you're
That's the
dating,
way. That's the way I do it.
intention.
If it was
Like,
intentional,
let's
right?
get
Yes.
these
If
things
it
off the
wasn't
table here.
intentional, then let's go out dancing. Let's remember, right?
Right.
But if it's real, then I don't even want to waste a day, right? So if all those things aren't aligned, then why even? It's been great, fantastic, right? I wish you well, but I mean,
Yeah.
Y'all see all this intensity that he's bringing? He brought it to the first date too, and I was like, oh, okay.
So you have a very business-oriented mindset. You want to know where you can succeed and where you might fail. So you want to know everything. So you have that choice of being able to say, well, if this isn't my strong suit, I'm not going to choose that, or I'm going to study it a little bit before I choose that, because it's like that, because that comes from growing up and having a certain dynamic in your family where you feel like you're always fighting to get ahead and get, put the sadness and the traumatic stuff below you, so you don't want to fail in your life, because that's the only thing you have control over is the decisions that you make, right? So here I'm going deep into
you went. Yes, listen, you went there. You went there. I'm here for it. I am here for it.
Yeah. So I know that when we talked, and I mean, we don't, need to go into depth about it, but, I'm an orphan by definition, but I lost my parents at older age. My dad, I was a little younger, but I have no parents right now. And so when you don't have parents in your life, however, be it their choice or they pass away or whatever, or they go somewhere you can't get to them, it changes you. It changes how your life trajectory goes. You either rely on yourself or the compassion and giving nature of other people that may have a little bit more education than you. And I think it's an amazing part of your story that you went from a 15-year-old who had a large amount of changes in their life suddenly to being this determined person, going off and living with a friend and living with a basketball coach and someone who's mentoring you and encouraging you to, this is what a family unit looks like, we're going to get you to where you need to be. And without giving too many details on my own, I would like for you to kind of elaborate on that, because I think that's a really special part of what makes you who you are.
It's my favorite part, oddly enough. You know what I mean? I mean, when you have to deal with something like that, you have to learn, I think, to see I think the growth and the evolution has been to learn to see that it was actually a blessing. Right? Like it literally was a blessing to be able to have this mentality that I do every day, happy Monday, happy Tuesday, whatever it is. That I don't know if I would have had that if it wasn't seeing her lose her life early, being my mother, seeing her not, it wasn't the loss of the life for me, it was that she wasn't happy. Yeah, just the clarity on that. It wasn't everyone dies. You learn that from watching. I was like, oh shit, everyone dies, and you don't really know when.
We're all
everyone dies.
Getting out of here alive.
Not to be Mel Gibson, but not everyone lives. Do you know what I mean? Not everyone lives, and I realized that. I was like, oh, it's not that. Is it like, don't worry about the death. You know what I mean? Just make sure you're living. You know what I mean? Just make sure you're living. So that's what I really took, and without being judgmental or. I look around, I think a lot of people don't live. I think they don't say what they want to say. They don't be who it is that they want to be. And I understand code switching and stuff like that. I've been in corporate life, so I get how you do have to manage that, right? You can't just always be yourself 100%, but still there's an element of just choosing the path in your life that you want to do, not what your wife wants to do, not what your mother's telling you to do. So I think seeing her not live really, really helped me live. So it's such it's a blessing, literally. It's so weird to say, but it's a literal blessing. I wouldn't have it any other way. But again, and then the other side is seeing the way that she was with relationships, awful relationships, right? So these are awful, awful men. So I also saw that as well. I was like, oh, like this, this is what you don't do in a relationship. Like this is exactly what you don't want to do. So just great lessons. I mean, unfortunately, it was great to speak to you about that, and I appreciate you listening. But yeah, it's been such a blessing. Every time I don't really think about it too much, but when I do, I'm like, wow, I'm so fortunate.
Well, I mean, that's where growth comes from, right? Is the struggles. So what other people may see as something that would stunt them. You saw at such a young age, I mean, you saw that you could either wallow in your sorrows and feel sorry for the hand you've been dealt, or you can say, okay, this is the beginning of me changing the way I think about life. And go and find the life that you wanted, so different than the rest of your family members, which is the case for a lot of people, I think, when you're struggling in a dynamic of a family. However, if it's not financial or relationship wise, you that one person, that black sheep or whatever everybody else is going to call you because you're doing better.
That's me.
Is that you see that there's a different path and that you want to go that way, and that it makes you into the person that you are with the real. I mean, I always think that it's so amazing when the timing, right? Like, because you had just broken up with somebody you were with for a long time, then you don't go the dating route, right? And you have so much going on, so many changes. You move from New York to California on your own without your parents and living with friends and just figuring it out. And that timing for you was so chaotic, but yet you were still had faith that you were going to find all the things that you needed to align your life. And then he had gone through all of these things, and you guys come together and you're like similar people, just living parallel lives. And you guys are what? 10 years apart?
10 years apart.
Yeah, 10 years apart.
Yeah. And that's always so amazing to me, is that timing. There's people out there begging for their souffle to be done cooking in the oven. And I say that about a man, like waiting for the man to cook. Like, souffle, stop opening the door. Just wait. He's got a timer and it's perfect. And stop trying to create your perfection. It's coming. Just be patient. If that person's getting ready for you, and you were getting ready for her, and she was getting ready for you, and yeah, you guys come together at the right time.
Can I ask a quick question really quickly on that? So how do you feel about that? Do you feel like it is, because women are a little bit different because they're sort of normally chaste a bit more. So, if I'm speaking to gentlemen, we're normally talking about being not aggressive in that way in terms of like where you're actually aggressive, but like where you do have to go out and create the situation that you want. So if she's beautiful and she's over there, you have to go over and say hi. Chances are she's not going to come over to you and say hi, right? So I don't know. Do you think there's a difference for the genders? Like, would you say that same thing to a man that your woman's in the oven?
Yes.
Like, so you'd say the same. Okay.
Today, maybe not 20 years ago. I think it's emotional intelligence. I think it's life experience. I think it's how quick you get that message you need to hear and how you need to hear it. We talk about having our angel numbers and seeing the things that we need to see, because the communication that we have with God or our loved ones or the angels or whoever they are that it's communicating, they communicate with us how they know our human brains are going to interpret it, right? So I have different messages than he has because God knows how he's going to understand it. And so I think it's not gender at all. I think it's when the person is ready because they've lived some sort of cap that God gave them. Okay, at this point, you're ready for that next step. And whether or not that next step is, bliss or it's another struggle that they have to get through to learn something. But what is life, right? If we're going to sit here and talk about what is the purpose? Does everyone die when their purpose is complete? Or are we all just here to watch what everybody else is going through so that, are some of us special and some of us not? Who knows? But I know that you have this life. And you got to take all those messages when they come, and I absorb it all. But
you have to be open and willing to listen.
Yeah.
There's I remember hearing the message from the pastor where he talks about free will. God gives us free will. Yes, you have access to everything, but it's what you do with it. It's how you listen to it. If you're willing to step forward. Because a lot of people, and I'm learning that the percentage of people that are willing to step out there, literally step on faith, is very small.
Yeah, because it's uncomfortable.
It is. It's like, okay, I don't know what
I don't know.
Yeah, what happens after I do this? Yeah.
It's the Indiana Jones for me, where he's in that dark room and he has to step out on these logs, and they're different sizes.
Great analogy,
but it's dark, and he's just stepping
great
out.
Analogy.
Step out on faith.
Yeah.
God's got you. If you believe it, then he's got you. But we have to be willing to take the free will and say, this is what I'm going to do with it. I'm going to open myself up for love, like you guys did.
Yeah.
No fear. Okay, I'm going to click.
Yeah.
I'm going to send a message. Boom.
Yeah.
I'm opening myself up.
And the impulses, take the impulse, get your impulse control, and really, people. I really wish people would learn to meditate a little bit. And I don't mean sitting crisscross in a room. Yeah, just learn how to stop and think about. Even you can feel it. You can feel, like, to me, anxiety is your body saying, don't go that way, right?
Listen to your body.
And if you feel calm when you're thinking about something, if you think about how your tummy feels, like if it makes you feel calm when you measure a decision, that's probably the way you should go. But if you get any little butterfly, it's probably your body saying, no, that's not the direction. Kind of like when we were teenagers and you get butterflies over a boy or over a girl, and you get so enthralled in that relationship, and it's all this hot, passionate, chemistry. That's your body saying, don't do this. This is not good for you. This is going to end abruptly, and you're going to get hurt. Now, you could either continue it or you can fight through it and know that you need to move in a different direction. And we're off on another subject.
I know.
I just gotta say this, and that's a lot of what I do with my work is allowing folks or helping folks to say, hey, like, you can trust your body, because a lot of times we have this somatic knowledge before we have like the mental knowledge or even that emotional, like, so your body knows, and then your brain and your emotions catch up to it.
Yes.
But your body. So what you're saying is that's what I do. It's like, okay, take a few breaths. That beat, right, allows that mind-body connection, and you're like, oh yeah, no, maybe I should go that way or that way or this way. So like what you're saying, like, thanks for the pitch.
Yeah. I mean, I started doing that just when driving. You know, I worked evening shift for a very long time, and I would drive home. I mean, I have one straight shot, couple turns to get home. And I would sometimes be driving and think, I'm going to exit here. And I don't know why I'm going to exit here, but something says get off now.
Follow that.
And just go home and never look back.
Follow that.
And I don't know what it was I missed or what timing needed to be changed in my life, but I practiced the little things because my gut says, listen to me. I'm telling you which way to go. Yeah. Just listen, do it. Even if I don't get the reason. I have to be okay with going to bed at night, not knowing how to do that. That's the hard part, right? Yeah. But if people could practice things like that a little bit more, and it makes sense with relationships, with how you speak to each other, with letting your ego kind of put it down and say,
it away a little
okay,
bit.
I was wrong. Let's talk about this, or I don't really want to talk about this right now. I'm not in the right place, so give me a few minutes. You know, whatever it is you need, but it brings into the relationship an understanding that you know, we're humans having what they say what do they? What does Oprah say? It's what's his name says it.
We're spiritual beings having a human experience.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's what
And so we have to give grace to that human body and all the things that mess us up while we're trying to be in relationships. You know, that's the part that screws us.
And it's okay to do that.
It is okay.
We get so caught up with winning and losing. In a relationship, you already won.
Yeah.
Now,
Maybe.
deal with the problem.
I mean, we did, but not everybody wins. No, not everybody wins because they make the wrong decisions.
Yeah, no, great perspective about that.
That's true.
They're looking for something, and they're trying to change the person to being the person they're looking for, and all those things. But, well, I think that you guys have such a healing focused lifestyle, running a business together, and then incorporating all those things you stand for in your relationship. I mean, I know, are you guys going to plan on having children?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so if the plan is, and God says that's what's happening, I can see you guys.
We're saying yes to life.
Yeah.
We are saying yes to life.
But as far as the description of how you are with what's the word? How you break everything apart to try to find out the whys and everything.
Yeah.
Have you guys discussed your parenting styles and what you guys want to do when you become parents and how you're going to discipline the children? And because that's something that a lot of couples don't do until they get pregnant.
Yep.
And I think with you guys running a business, which is already something that you learn how to.
It's a little bit.
Yeah, that's.
It's a little bit.
And then you having Brian, very intentional. You're very intentional with your actions when you go forward with something, and you are more of a free spirit.
Pisces all the way. Come on. I'm a Pisces through and through.
Have you guys discussed having kids and how you want to raise them? Because health, of course, is going to be number one, and how you want to feed them and how you want them to move.
Yeah.
But when it comes to your parenting styles, have you guys discussed that at all? And maybe is that something you might consider now?
No, we actually, it comes up. I think he is very similar to like our first date story, wants to sit down and like check all the boxes. Mm-hmm. And there are conversations that we've had, like, you know, like currently we're plant-based and vegan. Like if we have kids, they may not necessarily be able to, that might not necessarily be the healthiest option for them for a certain amount. Like, so we're having, or if that's the case, like, are we gonna know the chicken's name or like the cow's name before like all that fun stuff and the discipline. But I will say this, I think right now, what I'm bringing to the table is like, you know, we can try to make all the plans. Like I was a nanny. I have multiple siblings. I got a crap ton of nieces and nephews. It's my nephew's birthday today. Happy birthday to me. So have always been around kids and have been able to see like how truly individual each and every one of them is. So each child is. So it's like this idea of like, we won't necessarily know what we're going to get until we get. But what Brian is doing, what I don't even know if you would say that is super intentional, but like you know, he has friends who have children. He's asking such good, intentional, like really thought, like this man's superpower is being able to ask questions, right? Get to someone's soul.
Notice
and
that.
So like he's asking super thoughtful questions to his friends who either have children or want to have children to kind of get the perspective of fatherhood. And even with some of his professional endeavors, it's more about like diving into like aspects of masculinity, you know, what it is being a man, but all the things like fatherhood that come with that, right? And so I feel like we're in a season of recon, right? Of
Well,
like,
you have the men's mental health movement
Men's
also.
initiative, yes, yes.
Okay.
And we do speak about the complexities of fatherhood, and it's been so eye-opening for me because I think I went into it thinking I will do X, Y, and Z, and now I'm at the point where I'm like I'm going to be learning what to do more so than implementing what to do, and the beauty is that. But I do think there's the I think we're not where we differ, but I think the value that I could add there is just being consistent with the things that you are certain about, right? So that's where I think it can get lost, I think, sometimes because, you know, whatever it is that you do say, just making sure that you're consistent with that.
Oh yeah, that's the key to parenting.
Exactly.
Say what you mean.
Exactly. Just whatever it is that you're saying, it has to stay, right?
Yes.
So I think that's what I've seen be problematic in the inefficiencies sometimes that I've seen in parenting. If I can have an opinion, I know I'm not in those situations, so it's I can't judge. But inconsistency is inconsistency, right? So like, you know, that is what it is. I'm not saying it's easy or hard, but consistent is consistent and inconsistent is consistent. So I think the value that I can bring there was I can say something's consistent and it's just going to be that way. You know what I mean? There's no doubt. So but I think the value that she helped me see is that you don't know what everything's going to be like, right? What if your kid isn't really athletic, right? And you want to go hiking every day and the kid just doesn't want to do that. You're going to be mean to the kid, or are you going to really help the kid develop and find out what the kid wants to do, right? So that's where I've really learned a lot from her and the fathers that I've been.
Yeah, because you dream about what you want your kids to do. Yeah. We're the perfect example of zero of our kids are anything like us.
You said that even last time we were talking. Y'all were talking about that. I took heed to that. I really listened to that. Yeah.
And I mean, there's quite a few of them. And it's funny because you raise them with your personality.
Exactly.
So they have your little quirks and things. Yeah. But when it comes to like, we were both athletic, you know, all into the things.
Yeah, you're saying.
And our kids are like, no, don't want anything to do with that. Just want to sit here and do my thing.
Where? No.
He was just out with our 14-year-old this morning because he wants to learn how to grapple and he grapples with them, but he's like, well, we have to run and we have to do something. He's like, why are we doing that part? Like he's crying, you know. And I mean, you know, just because he's overwhelmed, because he's a very gentle soul. So when it comes to discomfort and pain and aggressiveness, he's having a hard time with that. So we thought that was a good opportunity for him to do the grappling. He actually wants to do it. But yeah, it's a trip because each one of your kids not only are different, each one of them, but they just won't have they didn't have the same upbringing you did. You have the fears that they will never need to be worried about. The stuff you dealt with, they won't be dealing with because you already are wanting a better life for them or a different life for them or a more safe, more, you know, what do you call it? When you raise the kid, oh my God, I keep losing my words. A village. To raise children, you know, not just siloing raising your kids and everything.
Yeah, but you know what? Something is really good when it comes to children. They don't have an ego. So they're teaching you how to treat them. That's something that I learned with my boys. I went into, you know, I'm a young dad, and my boys taught me how to treat them, how to discipline them. And not the norms that I had growing up with my parents. So I was able to learn through their lens. That helped me to be, I think, the best father that I could be.
Well, that's the consistency and the vulnerability. And there's not very many, well, I should say, we know a lot of men who are getting there, but we didn't grow up with a lot of men who are vulnerable. And even when the consistency changes, like you may change your mind with what you've been teaching your kid if there's something that you've been wanting them to really, you know, hone in on. And then you may have an experience that changes the way you think about that. It's also just being vulnerable enough to pull those children aside and say, hey, look, there was a moment where I thought this was the right way, but now I've changed my mind and I'm seeing something a little differently. So let me explain to you where I was coming from with the original original thought and now where I'm at, so that you can understand that I'm human too, and that you're going to have this happen to you.
Yep, very
and
true.
they're just, we say all the time, your children are your paparazzi. They're taking mental notes and photos and pictures of everything you do, and they're going to follow you because they're going to look up to you and admire you. And so when we're wrong, we have to say we're wrong. When we're right, we have to enforce the reasons why, not just say, you do what I say because I said so. You need to know why I say it, because this is what makes sense. This is the life we live, and as a family, I mean, as long as it's something positive. There's a lot of people who do that and it's not good stuff.
No, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
But explain the why is not just this is what we do.
Yeah.
This is what we do, and this is why we do it, and this is how it affects everybody around us, not just you.
And give them the choice to decide
Yeah.
what works best for me.
Yeah.
Now, I get it. From age 0 to 12,
right.
no, they can't
Yeah.
make the decision. But as we start to venture into adulthood, then they can make some decisions on, okay, well, this is not what I like.
Yeah.
Why not? If you can properly articulate
Exactly,
what it is that you don't like about this thing, then we can have a discussion about it. But if you just don't like it just because, you're gonna until you can.
Yeah, exactly.
I got you.
Yeah,
I'll let you be able to do that.
Struggle comes growth. So,
Yes.
but I think my point is that you guys have a great foundation.
Yes, you do.
So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
see you as, I mean,
That's the idea. That's the idea. Oh, looking forward to it. Looking forward to it.
great parents.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
But Lionel, to your point, my mom once told me, she was like, I'm not necessarily raising you to do everything that I tell you to do. I'm raising you to be able to make good choices on your own.
Yeah.
And she told me that when I was like, I think like 13, and it has always like stuck with me, because I had friends who, for whatever reasons that were rightful, their parents are super, super strict, and I'm like, had these moments like, does my mom love me? Like, she's not as strict as her, but like there was always choice. It was like gentle parenting before like gentle parenting was a thing. My mom will be the first to tell you she's a hippie. So, but like this whole idea of even allowing your children to have like some sort of autonomy, right? But knowing as parents that you're instilling sort of critical thinking and reasoning skills.
It's conscious parenting. It's very hard.
These choices.
You're educating constantly because you have to think, oh, wait, well, how are they going to interpret what I just said? Do they even understand what I just said? And, like I said, every kid is different. Some of our kids are like, we have kids that have this common sense, but their social skills kind of are a little aggressive. And then we have some that have zero common sense. But what we call common sense, it's changing in this world because the kids, the generations are changing. Like I said, it's a little more, I hate to say that kids are soft now because we grew up, unfortunately, too hard. At least I did, it was too hard.
No, we did.
It was too
It's just like, can I have a little, I can't be soft. It's really hard, for me. When I get emotional and I cry, I feel like, I've told you this when we had that conversation, like I have a little space that I've opened up. That someone can now come in and get me, like the kryptonite, I'm going to be susceptible to it because I have now been vulnerable, or I've cried, or, I've complimented, even complimenting someone sometimes feels like a vulnerable space for some reason because the way I grew up. But you guys have this, you guys have a great foundation, and you guys, despite your upbringings being so different, like you have, grew up in a very supportive, entrepreneurial family member, a lot of women being supportive of you and circling around you and telling you that you're capable, where you may have had people in your life like that, but it necessarily wasn't in your home, and so you have those people around you, so you know what it looks like and what you want for your children.
Yeah.
So I think that's great. Well, we need to talk about your business.
Yes, absolutely.
Because, so you have one business, but you do a lot of things in that space. And so tell us a little bit about the difference. I know you do the men's movement,
Men's Health Initiative.
And, okay. And then you're both working together,
Yeah,
but
we work
let's talk
together,
about that because I want everybody to know where you're at and where you're from and what you're doing, and that you might see them with us again in another circumstance. Now that we put it out there, you have to say yes for all the things we keep on trying to do.
We're in. I told you that. Consider us, pencil it in. I mean, it's consider us there. It's like not even a thought.
Well, we got to prove ourselves first because we have to go to Pilates.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
gonna have
we
to
gotta
start
do-
We got to
stretching.
do Pilates
Okay.
first.
Come on over. Yeah, so we provide mindful movement and health and wellness to folks through our company called Movement Matters Collective. It's been around for about 5 years. We do have a studio that's right outside of downtown San Diego, and we work with different populations. So we work with within our studio, a lot of times we're working with folks who we call wellness seekers. So they may just be starting their wellness journey or are on a road to recovery, or just looking for community. And in our studio, what they can experience is like modalities like Pilates, yoga, breath work, meditation, Zumba, TRX, all the fun stuff, just to get your body moving, hence the name Movement Matters Collective. But folks may come for the movement, but they definitely stay for the community. And that's the whole idea, is that, like, it's the old African proverb, like, you can, if you want to go somewhere fast, you go alone. If you want to go further, you go together. And so that's what we're there to, like, support. But we also partner with organizations and whether it's corporate or community based, to help them either bring wellness into their space for their teams or to support the communities that they serve with wellness from us. And I definitely use the word like mindful movement, but that just means we're trying to get folks to really connect with their bodies. The easiest way to do that is to like move that elbow a little bit, move your shoulders a little bit, breathe, all that fun stuff. And we add some, just making it super accessible. The idea is to make it super accessible. And we do work together. Brian is he started pretty much behind the scenes, but I love that, like, he's stepping front more with the men's health initiative, and teaching classes at the studio now. But any partnership that you see us do, like, he is the mastermind behind it. I do design all the programming and stuff like that we present.
So people can find you by going to your website?
Yep. So movementmatterscollective.com, Instagram, I'm just a DM away. We're just a DM
So
away.
what's the
Movement
Instagram?
Matters Collective on all platforms.
Okay, perfect. You got lucky.
Yeah. Take it.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
No underscores. no-
Just on all platforms.
Nope.
Nice.
And when folks partner with us or work with us, we do it in a very people affirming way, a culturally affirming way. So started the business due to some personal things, like helping my mom grieve. We lost 3 of my aunts who were like, other mothers to me, to late stage cancer. And so I like to say it is a space that is dedicated to Black women, but open to all, right?
Right.
So it was, I didn't know that this would be the outcome, like creating a space that was designed for or created for Black women, that everyone feels welcome and at home there. Like, they could like kick their shoes off, put their feet up on like either an ottoman, put on their favorite song or playlist. Like, it's literally a home for all.
Well, that's what we think is so beautiful, is that, we're all about that. It's so funny when I think about people talking about inclusion and diversity.
Yeah.
It's like, well, in our spaces, we're including all of the non-brown people, and we're including everybody. And it's because where we live, it's very diverse. But it is also very unusual to see, culturally growing up, to see a wellness space that is led by Black people. Not that we don't want to be involved in wellness, but it's not something that's been out there, visualized very much. So you guys are kind of unique in that space that we see. I mean, I've seen some others, but it's not the norm. When you Google wellness places, you're not used to seeing Black people pop up.
And it's so necessary.
Yeah.
It is so necessary. I don't know. It's hard to express how often I see unhealthy.
Yeah.
I remember when, and I'm proud that I'll be turning 50 this year.
Come on, 50 where? 50 where?
And I to think about when I was a kid, 50 was old. I don't feel old. And for people promoting health, to make sure that we continue to keep pouring into the fountain of youth, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for what you do. You're not just changing the minds of individuals, but you are changing generations of what we were, ingrained to do, how we were ingrained to eat certain foods, and for us to be systematically unhealthy.
Yeah, you're making it the norm.
Yeah.
And which is really important.
Yes.
Really appreciate that. What I was thinking today, I was just writing some emails out. Wellness specifically. I'm not going to say health. Wellness specifically is almost bougie, almost in itself. Like it's almost was this luxury.
Yes.
Wellness was a luxury. So the idea is what we're doing at Move Matters. We're sort of like trying to de-luxurify, making up words here.
Making it mainstream.
Making it mainstream, normalizing luxury, right? Or normalizing wellness, like taking that luxury out of it. Because you think of these spas, like what do you think? You're thinking very, very, high end, right? Super expensive. So you're automatically eliminating 99% of the people that can even go there, black or white for that. Exactly. So then when you start to throw the color on it, disproportionately, like you get lower and lower. So we're really trying to take that luxury off and really make wellness more accessible.
Yeah, I love that. I'm gonna build on a little bit, and I would say what we are offering to folks is saying like you're worth it. You are worth it. You are worth the time commitment. You are worth the positive feelings that you're going to have during and after. You are worth the smiles, the laughs, every breath. You are absolutely worth it. So even if you continue to think of it as luxury, like you are still worth it.
Right.
Like it is a mandatory luxury.
It's okay to not be that strong person all the time.
Yep.
And if this is what it looks like for you to take the break because someone says it's okay. Here it's okay. Come over here. You could stop being that strong person for a moment and take a break. And I think we just need to see that as a norm more often. And then it just becomes, oh, well, we do that. Yeah, we do that too. As a people, we do that.
So I love it when folks are coming in who you won't necessarily look at and say, oh, that's a Pilates princess. They're like, oh, I'm going to get my Pilates princess. Oh, I'm going to like my sound bath, right? Like, you can get a regular sound bath. Before it's like, what? Like you have to go to a retreat.
Yeah, people think it's bougie to do that.
You solely have to go to like a monastery to like hear the Tibetan sound bowls. Like, no, it's like these are the things these are tools and resources that we have on our hands.
It's also a little bit of people that come from the church. They think that it's against the Bible to do some of those practices.
Because of that reason, actually a good reason in that way is it's why we use the words mindful movement as opposed to yoga. Even the word yoga sometimes can be have a spiritual connotation. A lot of times you can get religious conflict there. So we use the words mindful movement just because in understanding that I don't understand it intuitively, but understanding that people think differently to me and using these choice of words. The good part is that once they feel that mindful movement, once that quad loosen up a little bit, start to say, whatever the hell this is, get more of this or yoga, whatever. So
physically beneficial.
Yeah, exactly. I feel better. I don't know what that is, but so that's been good. But we definitely use mindful movement for that reason.
Yeah. Well, we think it's amazing and it's wonderful, and we want everybody to know you guys are here and that it's something that we're all practicing as normal. So
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for coming today.
Before we close, I know we're closing.
Okay.
When you guys got married, traditional vows, did you write your own vows? And if so, what would you change?
Or add.
Ooh. We use traditional vows. But we got married at the downtown in the courthouse.
Yeah.
And there are only 2 county clerks who are Black that were able to do the ceremony. We got one of them, and he created. Not created, but like he was so excited to be there for us and our friends that had surprised us and showed up as well. And so our vow, like that whole process was just so special, specifically for that clerk because he was amazing. And to answer your question, I think that I would add that I would continue to be the iron that sharpens your iron, but also like that feather that softly like has your back, So we can be hard with each other, but we can also be soft. That's what we've learned.
That's true. You know, it's funny just thinking about it really quickly. I know that we do have to go, but you know, because I did look at the, you know, I love words. I love the language. I love writing, reading. So I thought about writing my own. We did definitely thought about it. But man, you know, it's funny. As I read them, I was like, seems like someone like took some time to think about this, or like, you know, like you could see the test of time that, because like it was basically all the things I would have said maybe some other elaborate way, but I was like, this pretty much hits the nail on the head of all the things. That was a good what you referenced there. But it really did make me think like, wow, this really is like some vows that look like they've stood the test of time. So I did think about it, but I chose not to just because I did think that it covered. So.
Well, what we've been doing is we've been challenging couples to, on your anniversary, to add a little space in there where you review that.
That's an
and
awesome
start to
idea.
think about, are we living this the way we said? You know, because that day kind of comes and goes. You don't really remember a lot of the details. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. But there was also witnesses there. And those witnesses need to be holding you true to those things that you said.
Our witnesses remind us every day.
Like we're going to hold you to these.
We love that.
That's the way it should be.
We hold them too.
Yeah.
We hold them as well.
Yeah.
Even though we weren't there. No.
You said that to me on Saturday because we just had our 2-year anniversary last week.
Last week.
What? How many years?
2 years.
Okay, perfect. And total?
Total 7 years.
7. Okay. Yeah. So that's amazing. And you know, like,
thanks for that.
Pull it out and just say,
Thank you.
Are we doing this? There's nothing wrong with adding a few things and then work on that for next year. You know, just to kind of keep checking in on each other. But we appreciate that. I think it's good.
Noted, Natalie. Yeah, appreciate that. No, I love that. I love it.
Accepted.
All right. Well, thank you for coming and watching and supporting and always being there for us. We appreciate you all listening. Please go to our Instagram page, couples_unfiltered, or our website, couplesunfiltered.com. We'll be having some of our photos from the Juneteenth celebration that we had that we've been talking about so much. By the time you hear this, we'll probably have the photos and videos up on the webpage or somewhere. We're very proud of that. So, but check them out on their website, please. And everybody just...
Stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned, but stay in love.
Stay in love.
Stay in love.
Just a quick reminder, we are not licensed therapists, and everything we discuss here is based purely on our personal opinions and life experiences. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend, and don't forget to subscribe so you'll never miss a future conversation.
This podcast is brought to you in collaboration with A Different Day Radio Productions, a podcast network bringing radio to the modern age. It's recorded at the Film Hub in Vista, California, a creative, collaborative co-working environment. Thank you so much for tuning in.